guys, welcome back to Romance Review TV with Lady T, and I got another recap for you guys. Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode number 7, Real Life Reckoning. And we're going to unpack in this episode. The couples are now moving into their new apartments together. Pastor Cal paid the couples visits to see how they're getting adjusted. One couple take their relationship to the next level. Another couple must navigate shocking encounter between their dogs and threaten to tear their marriage apart. So without further ado, let's jump into this episode. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, so we're going to start off with Kristin and Mitch. So despite Mitch previously telling his wife, Kristin, that he isn't attracted to her, he is very interested in having sex with her. So now in this episode, they move into their new apartment where he admit that he did bring some of those complimentary condoms that was offered at the honeymoon. Now, it looks like Mitch may be trying to turn over a new leaf because he went from being all in his head and standoffish to a lot more comfortable in his new life with his new wife. Now, he does take Kristin over to his bachelor pad, and man, I was too outdone when I saw the bathroom and the kitchen. Now, I know he had to know that his wife and production was coming to the house, and he still didn't do anything to attempt of trying to clean the place up. Now, I'm hoping Kristin maybe kind of teaches him better cleaning habits, because if he has their new home looking like the last one, they're going to have serious problems. Now, they head over to Kristin's apartment, and Mitch finds out just how high maintenance her dog is going to be. Now, Kristin presents Mitch with this thoughtful, handwritten card with words that was, okay. She said about how she thought he was the most thoughtful man that she ever met, and that she already admitted that she falls in love very easily, and she even gave him coupons with offers of intimacy. One of those, which was a bath together, that he decided to cash in on right away. And no surprise, when they had the conversation with Pastor Cal, they both admit that they consummated the marriage. And, we pretty much already knew where that bath was leading. And, hopefully Kristin is prepared if things don't work out. She readily admits that they don't talk about the future because her husband don't want to feel pressured. I just hope that, she isn't going out of her way to do everything his way, and they're working this thing together. So let's talk about Miguel and Lindsey. So Miguel is extremely focused on their 8-week experience and decision day. However, Lindsey gets anxiety just from the mention of having to make a decision at the end. And I'm like, did you not watch the show? So she asked him not to continue to talk about what is to come because it's just too much of a trigger for her. Well, maybe she shouldn't have been so honest during their honeymoon and told him some of the things that he says make her question whether he's truly invested. Instead, she defended him when the other wives tried to call out, how his words could be problematic despite complaining just a few hours before that. Now, Miguel shows Lindsey around his house first. Now, it's the typical bachelor pad, very neat. He seemed to be organized. He even breaks out with his prized Dungeons and Dragons books. He also really appreciates the fact that she accepts him for all of his quirky habits. So, it seems like Miguel finally takes the hint and has changed his way of thinking. He is now calling Decision Day Vowel Renewal Day, which makes his wife a little bit more comfortable with that. Now, they both agree that they have a great chemistry. They want things to work out. And as for Lindsey asks Miguel not to tell her when he feels like he may be distancing himself from her. He doesn't feel that he will be able to censor himself, though. Now, in the past, he felt that he had to do that in other relationships, and when he opened up, it was too late, which, I don't get that, Lindsey. However, for Lindsey, she wants to limit her anxiety when he has negative feelings toward her so she won't feel punished. I mean, honestly, I can understand both the points, but I don't think we can control how people choose to express themselves. If he need to communicate when there's an issue that may be turning him off, I don't think he should hide that. They need to communicate that. That's how she can learn to change it. Because if he wait and don't say anything and then says, well, this is why I feel this way because you did this, that, and the third, then she's going to be like, well, why didn't you tell me? So that doesn't make sense to me. So let's talk about the power couple, Stasia and Nate. So Stasia takes Nate to visit over at her home first, and it is just as nice as it is envisioned to be. I mean, everything is in its proper place, and almost looks staged like a model home. And I know a lot of fans, some of them had issues with her home, wondering how much money she make and how she get a home like that. The girl is a real estate investor. She's doing well, making $450 a year. And Nate is also doing well at $150 a year as he is a day trader or stockbroker. Anywho, at his apartment, he gives her the grand tour of his high-rise apartment. Now, although his apartment is pretty nice as well, Stasia can't help to give everything the white glove test. Now, she literally goes in his pantry, starts throwing, things out, empty containers, telling him that certain things are dirty. Yeah, look like we got some issues with that. Now, if she's going to nitpick and nag every day about small things, it might not go too well. Stasia isn't just clean. It seems like, she has a higher level of how she cleans her house. Then Pastor Cal comes over to check in on them. Stasia admits that, she needs to see more transparency from Nate. He has a hard time opening up emotionally, and once Pastor Cal leaves, Stasia goes into, more depth about how she feels. She believes that their conversations are very surface level, and he doesn't voluntarily open up despite they have the, similar childhood. Now, when Nate is given the opportunity to share more on the spot, he declines. He has a disconnect when it comes to his childhood, and especially with his mom. And that's so unfortunate. But I think this is a way for them to open the door and really bond, because their backgrounds and their childhoods are so much more similar. So next up is Alexis and Justin. So Alexis gives Justin the grand tour of her apartment. He absolutely loves her art, but is shocked about how many clothes she has in her closet. Now, later, she's disappointed to see Justin lives in a studio apartment. Not only was she shocked, but, the place was small, and he's very tall. I mean, you would think that because of his height and everything, maybe the space would line up with his size, but okay, it's comfortable for him. Now, things get a little tense when they arrive back to the apartment, and Justin's dog attacks her dog. Now, Alexis' dog, Newton, is like her baby, and she's extremely upset that he was bitten near his eye. Justin is extremely apologetic, but he is unable to say anything to make her feel better. The dog looked like he was so sad. It was a very stressful situation, to say the least. Things, they seemed like they were going well for a moment, but it got tough, and especially a lot of people thought that, oh, why did he lie? I don't think he knew the damage of the dog eye at the moment until she called it out. So speaking of his dog, Justin decides to take his dog to a training camp for to correct his aggression, I should say. The situation is difficult, of course, because he feels bad for leaving his pet for 2 weeks. Now, he did tell Alexis that if the training camp doesn't work, he will have to give up his dog to save the marriage. Now, when Pastor Cal arrived, it is obvious that Alexis is still upset about the incident with both their dogs. Now, apparently, Justin left out the fact that his dog snapped at other dogs. I think that's something you want to disclose. And she feels like, if she was armed with that information, she would have been able to handle things differently. And I agree with that. However, Justin is so empathetic. He feels so bad, especially now that his wife is questioning if she can trust the things that he tell her. Now, things get tense when she realized that he may not just give his dog away to make her happy. They got to come to a resolution. I mean, that he didn't expect his dog to bite her dog. He already feels like crap, which is why everything is such a mess right now. And it seems like blame is completely all on him. Now, I do think that he should have been a little bit more transparent about the other dogs and the aggression. But at the same time, these two are strangers, and it's just a difficult situation on both sides. I mean, they're both dog owners and know, that dogs can be unpredictable. I know Alexis wouldn't give up her dog, so, I don't know why she would expect him to do the same thing without struggling with that decision. So hopefully they come to a happy medium with this, but we'll have to see how the season progresses. So last but not least, let's talk about Ben and Morgan. So Ben arrives and take a look around Morgan's apartment. Now, he has a lot of questions about everything from her cat's hygiene to whether the appliances she tend to bring will use too much electricity, costing them additional money. Because remember, he's a minimalist. Now, later, Pastor Cal comes to speak with Morgan and Ben, and right away he jumps in asking about their disagreement on their honeymoon. Now, Ben does take accountability for overreacting and being judgmental. Pastor Cal explains that marriage doesn't come with a manual and people have to be given some grace to learn. But Morgan is still struggling to trust her husband after that experience, and she gets emotional when she is pushed to reflect on why feeling like her trust is broken is so hurtful to her. And, it was great to see Pastor Cal helping her see that Ben isn't her dad and that she doesn't have to become so guarded to protect herself. Now, I don't know. It's still up in the air with these two. They don't have much chemistry to me, but, things are always changing throughout the season on this show, as we've all seen. Okay, so there you have it. Our recap for Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode number 7. And let's get the conversation started in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think Alexis overreacted and the dog attack is all Justin's fault? Is there hope for Morgan and Ben and their chemistry? Should Kristin still kind of be careful when it comes to this whole thing with Mitch? And is Lindsey right to ask Miguel to keep his feelings to himself if they'll cause her anxiety? All right. So before you go, take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. And please don't forget to like and share. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.